All right, hello, wine drinking people. Today is Friday, the 8th of May. Wow, we just got a few days left here before I'm on a jet plane taking off going to Champagne and Burgundy. And I figured in honor of my trip to France, we should do an email about, wine from France. And even though it's not from Burgundy or Champagne, Bordeaux, also one of my favorite wine regions in France. And this little deal just came across our desk here on one of the smallest appellation in all Bordeaux, Pomerol. And Pomerol, well, Pomerol wasn't classified in 1855. This was considered the wilds back then. There was no bridge going across the river, so it was very hard to get to and relatively unknown until really the 50s. And, Chateau, one of the most expensive wines in the world, is from Pomerol. And Pomerol is about 1,800 acres of vines, and the average estate here produces 1,000 to 4,000 cases, which is considerably smaller than the estates on the left bank, which produce 10 to 20,000 plus cases of wine. So Pomerol can be very hard to find, and it's very hard to keep our Pomerol shelf stocked here because, well, a lot of the wines are very, very expensive, and like I said, they don't make much, so very hard to get after release. So 2009, a very highly touted vintage. Robert Parker rated 29 wines 100 points from 2009, making it the greatest vintage ever, according to him. And it was a warmer year, so the wines have a lot of forward appeal. And one of the things I love about Pomerol is this lovely plummy character that the wines have. They have this lovely plush, velvety texture of Merlot, which most of the wines are predominantly Merlot. I think 80% of the appellation is planted to Merlot. And then there's about 3% Cabernet Franc or 7% Cabernet Franc in this wine. And this estate was just purchased by Philippe Casse in 2005, and he has made some big improvements here. And like I said, 2009, an outstanding vintage, pretty much all over Bordeaux, left and right bank. And these 2009s already showy, lovely, like I said, plummy fruit to them, this plush velvety texture. And one of the things Merlot has is great acidity. So even though it doesn't have the tannic backbone that Cabernet has, it has a wonderful, firm hand of acidity that keeps things in place and enables the wine to age for a long time. So this wine's starting to drink very nicely now. It has that lovely coffee note, that fresh earth. The soils here are a mixture of gravel, clay, and sand. And that clay, well, there's pockets of that clay where it's almost exclusively clay, like Chateau is 100% of this blue clay. Well, this has got a little bit of that. It's got a mixture of it, and Merlot loves that blue clay and also loves sand. And this appellation here, like I said, pretty much, if you love Merlot, Pomerol is one of the greatest places in the world for this varietal. So check it out. Our little steal here, well, not a steal, 45 bucks. The regular price was $70 the last time we had this in. We have a great price on it, and like I said, it's got a couple of years in the bottle now, drinking very nicely. And speaking of a few years in the bottle, we just got a few things from the 96 vintage, my favorite vintage from the 90s, in solid cases directly from Bordeaux. So the provenance of these wines, outstanding. And just 1 or 2 cases of each. I'm going to throw them on this offer for you Bordeaux lovers that like things with a little more age. So check it out. Our little steal here, Chateau, Casse, and some great stuff from the 1996 vintage. I'm your host, Andrew Lampisoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.